talk about testimonials, because if you are a coach or an expert or a service provider and you're thinking about testimonials, it's probably because you're in an oh crap moment where like a potential client asks you, hey, can I see some of your client case studies? Or you want to put together some sort of sales page or promo that you're like, oh, we need to like share testimonials or client reviews as part of this. And this is common for coaches to not think about testimonials until they're in an oh crap position, but that's not when testimonials are the best to get. Now, if you stay to the end of this video, I am going to give you a template for reaching out to past and current clients to ask them to give you a quick review and get that verbiage out fast if you're in that oh crap position. But I actually want to talk to you about the sustainability of getting reviews, because coaches often put off reviews until someday, and then we do end up in these positions where we're like, oh crap, I didn't collect all of those like great juicy reviews and the wonderful things people said about me throughout the program, and now they're leaving, or I have been in that position myself. So I want to talk to you today about how you can make getting testimonials part of what you do. We have lots of systems and process goals in our seven-figure company. I'm Hannah. I'm the CEO of Dream Life Consulting, where we help coaches and experts gain an additional 3 to 10 high-ticket clients every single month using our systems for client acquisition, sales, and scaling. And this testimonial thing comes up a lot, but it really shouldn't be like a panicky project that you have to do by a certain launch date. I want to talk to you today about making this a natural rinse and repeat part of just what you do. Because the truth is, coaches, you are getting wins every single week. I'm going to guess that you pop into Zoom or you pop into your community and you're seeing all sorts of warm fuzzies, and you're just not leveraging them in the way that your marketing is demanding or your sales flow is asking you for. So let's start with thinking about how to make testimonials rinse and repeat. This is definitely a video where you want to get pen and paper and get ready to implement, because I'm going to share with you lots of tactics that I have implemented to make sure that I've got a literal file of warm fuzzies for a rainy day where I need to go promote something, or I want to show proof, or I just want to remember that I'm good at what I do. And those rainy days, just for your own mindset, it is brilliant to have a file of warm fuzzies or testimonials for those rainy days. Am I good at this? Because I still have those moments too. So for coaches and people who sell transformational programs like experts and thought leaders and even educators, we are in a position to build our curriculum in a way that testimonials are a natural byproduct of what we do, so that we don't have to chase people. One of our current clients, Sonia, she's actually a full-time professor in Dubai, and she also has a coaching offer for women. She helps them become more confident in their corporate roles. And so she's worked with some really high-powered women, especially in the Middle East, where it's not exactly common to be talking about your experience with coaching. So she felt like she was in a really awkward position because she couldn't necessarily go ask her past clients to go make a YouTube video and put your face out there and talk about all the problems that you had and how I helped you fix it. Sonia had also taken a break from her coaching. And so not only were these women like not really willing to give a testimonial, but it was so far past their work that even when she had like catch-up calls just to say, hey, how have things been going since we worked together? Maybe I can hear some of your review. They couldn't really remember what it was like. And Sonia is someone who we helped leverage our systems for getting results on the regular for her people. And she took those testimonials that she naturally collected and optimized her LinkedIn profile. And within 1 week, without even turning on all of our other systems for lead generation, she had 3 new high-paying clients coming to her.
Hannah, I didn't even reach out to people. I got those clients and the call, the clarity calls from just some posts.
And this is because people do need proof, undeniable proof. Honestly, the testimonials that are all poised and put together and people are like, Hannah is so sweet and she saved my life. Like, those testimonials are not even really what people are looking for anymore. They want undeniable proof. They want to see, a case study. They want to see screenshots. They want to see real results. And you don't necessarily have to wait or chase people down like Sonia was thinking she needed to. So let's take 17 steps back and think about your curriculum. Whether you're in the position of having a bunch of clients in front of you or none, I want you to start thinking about building your curriculum in a way that's going to make testimonials natural. So again, you can just be optimizing your profile with it every few months and not waiting for those oh crap moments. All right, so let's start with the situation that you have some clients in your program right now and you feel like they haven't really gotten these massive $1 million wins yet, but you need reviews. Well, this is where curriculum comes in. And the truth about transformational programs is that transformation happens in community. You don't transform your life in your own head or even on a one-on-one Zoom session. You know that you have transformed when you are out celebrating or you're able to share some sort of hey, I did this thing different this week. So what I recommend all of our clients do is have some sort of weekly accountability in their program. And you might have something like that now. Okay, you have to pop in and check in, or you have to tell me you did your homework, or you have to show up for a Zoom one-on-one. But I want you to think about training your clients to share their wins with you. Yes, because it's going to give you testimonials, but even more importantly, it's going to train your clients to see their wins on a regular basis. Now, we know that in life, we get more of what we focus on. And so implementing some sort of weekly celebration. In our program, we have the Vortex that's open all of the time for our clients to pop in and say, hey, just got a new client. Hey, just finished my manifesto. Hey, just turned on Ulink. And we do that so that we create this environment of positivity, of focusing on our wins. Not from this toxic, okay, you have to celebrate something every single day, but from a place of have somewhere to share that, have somewhere where your transformation can be witnessed, because it inspires the rest of the community and we can screenshot those things. And again, I remember back in the day when I would have to wait for some long YouTube video, but now, me 10 years ago would be mind blown if I knew I could just screenshot something from Slack and go post it to LinkedIn. It's so easy. So we use Slack. Other clients use some sort of Google form that they'll email out over the weekends, in an automated way to ask people, what did you accomplish this week? What are you celebrating? Ask them to do that as part of your program. It's going to help them realize how much value they're getting from your program. It's going to help them get more results. It will also inspire referrals, just so you know. That's a topic for another video. But you will also start to collect this plethora of screenshots or images or text or however you want to set it up, so you always have those little testimonials that you can use in marketing. Now, the thing that sometimes comes up is I don't want to screenshot everything that someone sends to me. I can't share their name. I can't share their private details. Okay, but let's just get into the habit of collecting those things. And so a challenge I want you to take into this week, whether you've got lots of clients or you're just texting your friends and maybe soliciting or maybe doing some coaching just kind of pro bono, is get in the habit of screenshotting, of saving, of taking photos of things that are happening. Because today people do demand undeniable proof, and they can look around and look way beyond just your LinkedIn recommendations for, does this people get results? Are real people engaged in this process? So you are going to want a little warm fuzzy file of these screenshots, and it should just become that natural part of what you do, part of the program, training your clients to celebrate their wins. You know this is how human psychology works. You know this is part of the transformational process. But if you are someone like Sonia who's okay, but these people don't want their names or their face out there, perfect, blur it out, okay? That's the beauty of screenshots in today's day and age. You can leverage people's experience throughout your program and have undeniable proof, and you can blur out their face. So, pull up your skirt, set your shoulders back, and add this as a requirement to your program. I personally have been in programs where they expect you to pop in every single day and say what you accomplished and what you're proud of. And I actually continue that habit in my life because it feels really good for me as someone who, building a business, you have days where you're like so in the weeds and you're just like, what am I doing? It's been a very healthy habit for me to continue that sort of daily accountability with myself. People talk about gratitude journals for a reason. And so I want you to make sure that you have this as part of your program, and it's going to make testimonials a natural part of what you do. So after you have done that, you might still be in the position like Sonia, where you're like, okay, I can collect these things moving forward. I can chop their names off. That's going to be a great process for me. However, I do want to go optimize my LinkedIn, and these women aren't even willing to leave reviews because they don't want their name out there. Here's what we do in that case. We tell stories. And for optimizing our profiles, like on LinkedIn, for example, you can pin posts. And so this is where you don't even really need their approval. You can tell their story. And using specifics from stories does create that kind of undeniable energy. So for Sonia, she was able to look at, okay, here are these 3 women that I worked with. They're not willing to share their name or their face, but I can list out the problems that they came to me with. I can list out the process that we went through, and I can share those big results that they had. And this also goes into, if you're actually going to have real people fill this in for you, I've got that template coming in at the end here. But for Sonia, it was about just getting it pen to paper for her own self. So in storytelling, you're going to start with like who they were before, what were the big shifts that they experienced in your program, and then how did they leave? And in the era of marketing, people understand that identity and protection and privacy and all of that is important. So what we did with Sonia is we just put aliases on her stories. And we said things like, here's how my client Julie went from struggling in her corporate role to confidently closing $1 million deals. And that is undeniable proof because Sonia was able to show the steps, tell the story. And it wasn't just one case study we put out there. It's never just one sales asset. It's never just one testimonial post that changes your business, right? So we did that a few times. We actually call these cornerstone posts in our system. We did that a few times to optimize her profile, tell the stories of these women with aliases, and these are the pinned posts that started attracting other women. There's a reason why we love movies. There's a reason why we tell stories, right? This is the only thing that we have had since we were cavemen and women. The spoken word is powerful. And when people can see themselves in stories, when it's something that they can identify with, even if every single specific isn't the same for your prospects, the fact that you're willing to share some specifics, like this woman was working in a country where her identity was not appreciated, right? You can go general yet specific enough, this is copywriting 101, to use storytelling to help you build some of your core testimonials. If you aren't able to share their identities, or if you're just starting out and you need to think about people that haven't necessarily paid you for the entire program, or you haven't had someone go through the entire thing yet, well, then think about people that you have helped. Where were they? What were some of the things they went through? And then how were they transformed? Who were they at the end? And start just building a few client case study stories for yourself and for your profiles. So those are the 2 kind of extremes, right? The first one is like, hey, if you have clients and you're getting them results, implement these processes into your curriculum. Then the other extreme is, hey, you don't really have clients and they're not really willing to put their face out there or give you a review. So here's how we can glean testimonials even in that case. But the through line and what I do is somewhere in the middle. And again, it comes down to systems and processes that we have in our company. So I already mentioned to you the fact that we have those weekly wins in the Vortex. And my business partner, Ore, is brilliant at making sure that we get our clients to share their wins. Sometimes they'll say stuff on a one-on-one and they'll be like, hey, I just, enrolled 3 new people last week, and we'll keep moving with the meeting. But then Ore will make a note and he'll go to Slack and he'll be like, hey, Jane, did you say you got 3 new clients this week? Just confirming. And then Jane will message us on Slack like, yes, and then we'll get to celebrate her, and the entire team will see Jane got 3 clients, even though she just kind of mentioned it as an aside on our one-on-one. and we get the screenshot. So that's something that we do. We, regularly are looking and listening for the wins. We have that Vortex channel where we ask clients every single Friday, what are you celebrating? So every week we're collecting these testimonial screenshots, which are helpful for things like optimizing your Instagram profile by adding a highlight section that is just about testimonials. Okay, I'm not in the habit of putting out screenshots all the time on my Instagram, but I did that for a couple of weeks. I strategically dripped out some screenshots so then I could pin it on my profile as a highlight. Same thing with those cornerstone posts where it's like, okay, just make sure you have a few case studies that are there so that as new people come in, they are seeing that undeniable proof. And you, as the coach or CEO, are not every single Tuesday being like, what's my Transformation Tuesday post? You can do it once, optimize your profile, set it and forget it for like 6 months. Then the other thing that I do as a process in our company for some of those longer form testimonials, right? There are some people in our pipeline who are like, yeah, I saw your Instagram. Yeah, I saw your LinkedIn, but like still want more. I want to give them more. And I also want to give our best clients the opportunity to reflect and celebrate. So a couple of times a month, I hand select some of our clients who are in the program and I ask them if they would be willing to share their experience on YouTube. And the good thing for us is that we work with people who get it, right? They're also building businesses. They also want testimonials. And we have taught them the power of celebrating their wins, being seen in transformation, reflecting on their own process. And so in those YouTube videos, you can go look at them. It's just me in my Zoom room with a client, and I go through these core questions. And these are the core questions that I use in video to solicit the actual responses that I want. And I will also use these same questions if I need someone to write a written review. Like a few times a year, I'll go refresh our LinkedIn recommendations, and I do need clients to write a little paragraph. But if you just show up to Zoom and you're like, how was it? And you just say, hey, will you leave a review? You aren't going to get the kind of testimonials that actually show prospects or curious minds your power. So the number one question to ask in long form testimonials is, where were you before? So I'll say, hey, Ricky, do you remember when we met? Like, what were you thinking about? What were you struggling with? Where were you? And I'll try to kind of jog their mind, especially if we're on video. Yeah, I was worried about these things. I was struggling with those things. Perfect. That's when you hook the listener and saying, hey, Ricky had the same problems as you. You're going to want to keep listening. If you start the testimonial with, what are your big wins? How awesome are you? You're not going to get the same kind of engagement or interest because it's disconnected from that beginner or that person who hasn't worked with you yet. And remember, their mindsets change fast once they get coaching. So you want to help them like really roll back the tape, really get their mind back to where they were 3 or 6 months before they knew everything that you've taught them. Then the second question is, what doubts or hesitations did you have about working with me? And it's true, everyone has a hesitation. There's always that what if or that yeah, but. And you want your clients to be honest enough to say, I was worried about the financial investment, or you look like a lot of the other people out there. I had been burned in the past, or I had to talk to my wife. Like, if they don't remember, you can also help jog their memory. So for me, I do some of our sales calls. And so I can sometimes say like, hey, I remember on our sales call, you were worried about these things. So what hesitations did you have about joining our program? And you want to get that honesty because, again, this helps show your credibility. You're not just highlighting the wins and the big breakthroughs and the smoke and mirrors of what happens after they come into your magical coaching box. They're actually showing like, hey, here are the steps of transformation. It is much more believable when you start at the beginning and say, what were your problems? What were your hesitations and doubts? And then your third question is to move into, what blew you away? Knowing that those were your hesitations and other people definitely have those hesitations, well then what blew you away? Or what surprised you about our process? What surprised you about working together? Surprise and delight are things that people do remember and are going to speak to your greatness and speak to what sets you apart from other people who might be making the same claims on the internet. Then the fourth is to get into those tangible results. Do you see how I went through other questions to get to what were your tangible results? Because you're likely getting screenshots and you can toot the horn, but you're now much more credible in a listener's mind or in a review reader's mind if they can see some of those things that resonate with where they are, then get into what they want, right? You got to meet them where they are so you can dazzle them with where they want to be and actually be believable. So the fourth question is, what tangible and intangible results did you achieve? Now, clients aren't always the best at doing this, so I often give clients some prompts. If it's on video, I'll say things like, now, I know that you're consistently enrolling 5 new clients every single month, and you were able to put that down payment on your house. So what are some of the other things that you were able to achieve in these last 6 months? I will kind of prompt them if we're on a video interview, but even if this is in writing, I will take the time to give them some ideas. I'll even fill this form out and say, this would be a great place to talk about putting the down payment on your house, to help them, to make it easier. And then the fifth question, the final question is, what does this really mean for you now? And again, I'll give some examples or I'll reflect what I see for them so that we can get into that heart conversation, because this is about more than just the screenshots and the quick numbers and the quick wins. These longer form testimonials are the point where you can get into the head and the heart of your clients and other clients who want to be like them, right? You want to create more of your best clients. And so by highlighting the best ones and showing their head and their heart and their process, you are, like a movie, going to resonate with other humans who see themselves somewhere in that conversation. So those are the 5 key questions. Number 1, where were you before? Number 2, what hesitations or doubts did you have about working with us? Number 3, what blew you away or surprised you about working with us? Number 4, what tangible and intangible results have you achieved in the last 6 months? And then number 5, what does this really mean for you now? And as you can hear in conversation, this is a really fun way to help people reflect and also obviously get a long form testimonial. But this is also something that I literally prompt if I'm asking for a written testimonial. I will give them this outline. I will start to fill in some of the answers. And when I go to ask for testimonials, I make sure to tell them, I'm going to make this as easy on you as possible. Because another mistake that coaches make if they need these longer form testimonials is like it can feel like a burden on your client to be like, okay, I got to think really hard about everything. What would I say? Give them things to chew on. They might even take it to AI to help them make this simple, because it is important for it to be efficient and a process and not something that's going to take 3 coffee chats and some awkward ask and then 3 more months for them to get it back to you. In today's day and age, we want these things on hand, ready to hand out, because the coaches who win now are the ones who are presenting undeniable proof. The coaching industry cannot afford to live behind this like smoke and mirror thing, like I said, where it's like, oh, just come in and you'll find out. Consumers are hungry for the data. We have been taught, thanks to websites like Amazon, that you can see thousands of reviews and you can check out in 1 click. And coaches are still over here being like, well, let me move you through my webinar, and then let's have an application, and then let's talk, and then I'm going to try to say that you have to work with me to get more. And consumers are just not loving how coaches think they want to sell. And so we do need to play the game of getting results, getting proof in front of people so that you don't have to have long sales cycles. You don't have to chase people down, and you can be like Sonia, who simply put out some of her case studies and started seeing people resonate and convert. So I definitely hope that you took notes on this and you come back to this to implement both the process goals of making your curriculum a natural testimonial machine and the outcome goals of sometimes needing to get those reviews, get those videos, so that you're never left in that oh crap moment, but you actually have a pile of reviews and testimonials that, as I already alluded to, are going to help your clients get better results, stay longer, and start to send you referrals. Because testimonials are not just a random project. They need to be woven into the way that you show up so that you do get those 3 R's: results, retention, and referrals. And yeah, testimonials are just the byproduct. So don't overcomplicate this. Make it easy on yourself. Make it a system and come back to this video anytime you need that hit of warm fuzzies for yourself or your marketing. Cheers to growth, and dream life is real life.